The assessment tool I have chosen is called Gnowledge.com. Now you may be wondering, why does knowledge start with a G and not a K? That is because it stands for general knowledge. Now, the purpose of this site is for teachers to create electronic tests, which they will share with their students. Students will take these tests and they could share their test results with their parents. Everybody learns in this situation because parents are learning how their child is doing in this said class. Students are learning how they're, kind of dealing with the subject matter and if they need help or not. And teachers can see how they're teaching. If no one's really understanding the material, it will reflect in the tests and they can fix that in that way. The advantages for using this tool for assessment is that it's pretty easy to access. If students have computers at home or even in a computer lab, they can easily get on and take tests to test their knowledge on how they're doing the subject matter. It also saves paper, which is pretty good for the environment. And another advantage is that this is a pretty easy website to use. It's pretty straightforward. Now, let's look at the setup and some key features of this website. This is the Welcome tab that we are on right now. Kind of just gives you an overview of the site. And if you scroll all the way down, you could have more help by clicking on the FAQ tab or frequently asked questions, which hopefully you have none after watching this video. Now scroll back up, and this is called the Profile tab. This kind of just gives your account information and you can update it as you wish. This is the Test Creation tab, which is really the key feature because this is where you create your tests for your students. So this is where you create the new test, manage tests you have already created, and view who is taking your tests in the test activity report. This tab is the test taking tab, where you can view available tests that teachers from around the world have made in various subject matters. You can continue tests that you have already had in progress and view test results. This tab is just how-to video tab where you can see more videos on how to do some things on the site. Now, as you can see, this View Available Tests tab, which we are on right now, took a bit to load, which can be seen as a limitation since students these days kind of have a short attention span, so they might get a little frustrated. But I could see why it takes so long because there is a lot of different things on this webpage. As you can see, there is many countries, so it's kind of cool and kind of an advantage because students can see, if they so wish, to explore different cultures and languages, and they can kind of play around, which is pretty cool. There's also a bunch of different subjects from dentistry to algebra, varying grade levels, AP, history, so many different kinds. The list goes on. There's also many different grade levels that you have available. And then under the school tab, you can see schools that participate in this website. Overall, it's pretty global. Now, if you scroll down, these are the tests that are trending right now. These are the latest tests, the most popular, and your search results. Now let's go under the tests and just click on one to see how it's like to take it. So all you have to do is click on the test and go to take this test. And then the test starts. You could even start a timer. Now you could just answer the question and submit. It's as easy as that. And it was submitted successfully. And as you can see over here, I got it wrong. Not surprising. So let's create our very own. Now I have already started to create a test to save time, but I will show you the Create a New Test tab just so you can get an overview. You put the title of your test, the subject, the grade, and the school. And this is kind of a limitation right here because I noticed something when I typed it in. When I typed in Stockton, this was the first thing that popped up, not this, which kind of means it might be a little outdated, which can be a limitation. But let's manage my tests and see the tests I've already created. Now, this is the types of assessments test. I've chosen this subject because we learned about this last week in our course. Now, another limitation of this site is that for students to access this test, they have to actually look these up manually. They can't just, there is no groups that you could group your students in, so they really can't get any notification either if you put a test up. So, if a student isn't listening in class and you tell them they have a test, they may not know because they won't get notified of it. And they have to really know exactly what they're being tested on to find it. But regardless, let's manage questions so you can kind of see how to make your own questions. So I already made my own question, but let's create a new one anyway. Now, you have a few options here. You could do a fill in the blank question, and if you really need help on it, it kind of tells you how to do it, and you can even watch a video on it. There's matching, multiple choice, and true and false. And there is also an image gallery, so you can add a snippet of an image if you so wish on a question to make it a little more fun. There is a disadvantage here though, because there is no open-ended option, which can be a problem because sometimes it's good to test if students know how to write certain things out and not just pick it from a group. But anyway, let's make our own multiple choice question. So let's make one up. How many types of assessments are there? So that is where you type in your initial question. And you just put your answers here. Now we know that this is the correct answer, so you highlight the correct answer and then save question. And now your question is created. So now I have 2 total questions on my test, and let's say that's all I wanted to do. So to get back, I go to back to questions. And here is my test. Now, all you have to do is go back, you apply the changes that you have made, and press OK so it's visible to everyone. And when you go back to manage your tests, you can see the test right there. We see that it's public. So now your students can see this test if, of course, as I said, they manually put in the subject and the grade, the school, which is, again, sort of seen as a limitation in my opinion. But overall, I believe this is a great tool that teachers can use if they want to assess their students further. I feel you can integrate this easily into a classroom, whether that be through a computer lab. Say, if you want during a lesson to go to a computer lab and have them take the tests you have already created just to see how they're doing, it's pretty cool because you could just see their test results right away. And you don't have to, grade it yourself because it's all there already. So I feel like an electronic test is pretty cool in this way, and this is a great platform to do that off of.